go-getter. You seem scared of this trip.
A little bit. It's been up about 20 minutes. So luckily, we can just make it happen. We're gonna see.
You're typically kind of scared of the dark.
You? Or me? It's not necessarily what's out there, it's what's in me that comes out in the dark that I'm probably more frightened of. So I guess we'll see how that plays out this morning.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Fishing with Jay. It's nighttime. We're all a little bit scared. Running around with Mr. Hen Lures himself.
Top of the morning or evening.
Brett, it seems like it's trouble out here.
Oh, there's always trouble out here. We're out here.
I know you spend a lot of time on these lures. I think one of these fish might try to steal it from you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to try and steal it back with the fish attached. Give it a little tug of war and see who wins.
I'll be dipped.
This time of year, we're starting to see the beginning of the mullet run, and everywhere is opening up, but the beach has been getting really good. I can't tell you how many days I've stood watching blowing up fish just outside of range or not getting bit and thinking something was going to change. Went home tired and fishless. I won't go catch a million little fish that are easy to catch if we're not going to eat them. I won't go out if I'm going to fish all week anymore for one bite like marlin fishing unless I'm working. There are things that I'm just not interested in. Otherwise, as long as I got the right tackle, I'm going to have fun. I'll go catch crappie. Just give me a 2-pound mono rod. Let's go. But fly fishing to me that's the reward, because
What is the chances?
I'm not doing it to catch fish. I genuinely enjoy developing that rhythm of casting and the feeling I get of being in nature and everything that comes with it. And then if I get bit, it's just a giant bonus. And there's nothing more fun than the direct feel of a bite through your fingertips and the runs back at the boat when you're cranking as hard as humanly possible and watching slack build up. Watching the knot pop through the tip of your rod as you go into your backing. It's drugs.
All right, we got a neat little stop here. We're going to go by Brett Henninger's place. He has a cottage industry lure company that has completely taken over his life and his house.
It's a beaut. Across the country 6 times this year. Florida to border of Idaho and Canada. And then north-south Florida to Maine. And then back.
At my buddy Brett's house. Fisherman, surfer, completely obsessed with fishing. And check this out.
Tiger Boss. 40 hours in.
But yeah, cutting the jigs, man.
So this was pre-pack.
Hand lures. This is all the stuff he's working on.
Yeah. Looks like we found ourselves a fisherman.
I like it a little bit.
This is Brett, and he's badass.
Just the little beach shack in Jensen Beach. Make the baits, surf when there's waves. Always play with the dog. Got the CNC machine where the dining table used to be. Nobody will do anything for you in today's world unless you give them 10 grand. So I figured, why give them 10 grand if a machine costs 10 grand? I already taught myself how to CAD. Was doing that for the 3D printing, and then I said, why not just give it a shot? Wrecked a bunch of metal and bits and fried the computer board a few times, but now we're making all the lead molds I want, other random projects. My buddy and I built an enclosure. We've got it plumbed where it brings in fresh air, out fresh air. This is a full dust evac system, so it pulls all the dust out, doesn't go in the house, choke me and the dog out. Yeah, this is where we do all our different 3D mold cutting and other stuff. It's awesome. Prototyper. So with that enclosed, I can run it 24 hours a day if I need to.
You're obsessed.
It is absolutely an obsession. It took my life over, and I have done almost nothing for 3 years since this became this. Which is cool. I'm happy. Having a good time. The rest is just overstock storage, online stock, and then next door is the plastic shop and the lead shed.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about where Hen Lures is born and bred. Every single bait comes out of this property right here.
Can we see it?
Let's go. Over here, the plastic room. This is where all of the baits get poured or injected. Everything from our 2 1/4 inch Shrinito. These little dudes. Killer snook, trout, crappie, bass, anything bait. Up to our 12-inch dredge baits that are not yet released but already being fished. So once, let's say for a top pour, we 3D print the master, we'll end up with something like this, which is literally just the bait on a plate. So then we take that, put the walls around it, and we use silicone. So you'll pour the silicone in there, 2-part. When it comes out, different mold, but you'll end up with a top pour silicone mold. Typically you can run 1,000, 10,000 baits through before it degrades, and then you gotta re-pour, but keep your masters, all you gotta do is re-pour the silicone, and this stuff sets in an hour and a half. Back at it. Pull this off, pop each of these off, straight into a pool water bath. Bring it all the way down to room temp fast that way by shocking it. Then we lay them all out. They dry on paper towels to make sure that they don't get moisture because it'll actually degrade the plastic. They stay there for anywhere from a week to a month, and then they can get stored. Smaller baits are injection molds. This is our Shredder mold. Prototype lead molds come off the CNC. This is what it looks like in process. This is for our 3-4 inch new baits and our new croaker bait. So these close up, pour your hot lead into here, and instantly almost it cools and you can pop it out. Let it just pop the tailing off here. Come out clean, you pop that off, clean it up, and then we'll powder paint them, put eyeballs on them, and send them out. We're going to use a propane to heat it up. It's called a fluid bed. It's actually fluidizing the powder so it goes on nice and even. A tin and make it a 1/2 ounce. That's Hen Lures. Looking at the CEO and the janitor.
Living in Jensen Beach, Stewart area, I always say you're going to be catching a lot of snook if you're fishing all year round and you're doing things right, no matter what you want to target. I enjoy snook a lot. I'm 43 with a lot of injuries, so catching a giant tarpon is like a couple time a year thing for me. But even the biggest snook in the world, you're not fighting it for more than 10 minutes. So we get a little bit of everything. We're all water, you know. We're in the Indian River right now. We have the St. Lucie, then the St. Lucie forks out. We've got the North Fork and the South Fork. We've got beach fishing going on all year. Just south of us is where, like, Palm Beach and where the coast turns, and that's, I don't know, according to scientists, that's some of the most biodiverse water in the world. That meets our coastline, and our inlets are super close to all of our inshore fishing, and then add in the way that Lake Okeechobee comes east and the way they've created a direct navigational channel to the South Fork. You've got the collision of big freshwater, estuarial water, ocean water. Being that close together gives you like the perfect recipe for large breeding snook, as well as tarpon and all the different fun species to target. What results when everybody's taking care of our waterways is some of the best fishing.
Holy smokes!
On the East Coast and in the broader U.S., but lately we're dealing with more and more issues every year. Everything from beach renourishments that's killing the nearshore reefs that are the breakwaters and home for the small fish, to the dumps from the lake where we're getting releases get here within a day and a half, so they're pretty much straight lake water. We're having algae blooms in the summer and traveler grass in the winter. Oxygen levels are super low at points of the year. The cloudiness right now, I can tell they didn't announce it, but they dumped, which even though the turtle grass was coming back now without enough light, that's choking out the turtle grass. It's something they're addressing, but not well enough in my opinion. And we ignore all the local issues because we like to point the finger at other people and try to make them fix it. But if you looked at a map of this area, I'd say more than 80% of the houses on the water are on septic tank, which makes no sense. Our highest dollar areas are higher elevation, sloped, and they're irrigated and pesticided and fertilized to the hilt, and that runs straight in the river. So I think there's a lot of personal ownership we can take too, while rightfully saying that, the big sugar and big cattle has done a number, and selling out our aquifers has done a number on our state. And unfortunately, we feel the effects as much as anybody, because what makes the fishing so great also brings that water here instantly.
Holy smokes, look at this thing.
It's a mecca, but if we don't take care of the water, I don't know what'll be left.
What's a casting reel and a spinning reel? Why not use a spinning reel?
I like casting reels for swim baits because it's got a lower retrieve ratio, and the way I fish swim baits, it's easier for me to get as soon as I cast to get on the reel. So if I'm fishing tight structure or anything like that, I can be a little more precise with my cast and keep from snagging a little easier. Spinning reels are going to give you a higher retrieval rate. So let's say you're fishing tarpon or something like that. They're a lot better for that. You can also get more drag out of them. Even if you have a really good drag and a bait caster, you're prone to line bite with braid. And all of us, if you're fishing in current, trying to be on bottom, you have to fish braid. So that's a trade-off. I've blown up line on tarpon and snook a couple times with a bait caster. The other thing is, at my age, with my number of injuries, my hands go numb, so I fish a bait caster for 20-30 minutes, and then I switch and I fish a spinner.
Why do you get so many injuries?
Living hard, man. I played baseball through college, so I had a couple weightlifting injuries, a couple baseball injuries, and then surfing's my passion, and I hurt myself a bunch doing that too. I popped my shoulder out the top in Panama. I popped my hip out the side in Nicaragua.
Oh my God!
I'm not very brave.
Not bad. First fish this morning.
But even if you don't use it, you lose it anyway. So, baby. Without community, you end up isolated. In today's world, especially, if you can't find ways to be a part of an in-person community, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because the world is set up to isolate you. And it's out of convenience, and that's fine, but if you're not going to interact with your neighbors and be a part of something, I think you're never going to get the most out of your activities, whatever that may be, that you could. Whether it's a surfer, a beach person, and being a part of some beach cleanups. There's a million different ways to be involved and a part of a positive community. And I think that's more than anything what this world's missing right now. Especially for the kids these days, I feel terrible. It's too easy to do the wrong thing on the internet, and when you're not looking people in the eye, and it ruins people's experiences, if not lives.